This week on Across the Arrowverse, floating cities, guns on the street, and promises they're never going to keep. Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Matthew Vose.
And I'm Catherine Vose.
We are back from our hiatus. We have had trips out, we have had a wedding, we've had a honeymoon, we've had a change of name for one of our hosts. And we're back in it with Supergirl.
Yay!
So this is Across the Arrowverse, and we have been catching up with 3 episodes of Supergirl, The Dark Side of the Moon, Not Kansas, and Make It Rain. How do you want to approach this, Mrs. Vose? Do you want to talk about all 3 together or sequentially?
Let's do it briefly sequentially first, and then maybe think about the overall themes and where we think we're going for the finale.
So both?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, Dark Side of the Moon. Mon-El, we were left on that cliffhanger of Mon-El and Kara going off to get the rock from an asteroid. Yep. That would help them. And they get there and they discover it is her hometown, her home city.
Argo?
Argo. Not Argon.
Not Argon, but Argo.
Argo.
It's not the most inert substance known to man.
Absolutely.
Whatever Argon is.
And then we have lots of her acclimating back on there, as well as Alex being hunted by someone who possibly wants to kill her.
Yeah.
With the 2 main stories going on.
Can I just ask
Go ahead.
you something? So, I know or vaguely think I'm aware that there is a storyline from the comic books that an evil Brainiac took her hometown in the comics and shrank it and kept it.
Yeah, I think I've conflated the 2. I think Argo surviving is a thing, and Brainiac shrinking a Kryptonian city down into a jar is a thing.
Okay.
I think I've conflated that to be her hometown. But actually it's the city of Kandor, or the region of Kandor, or something, that he does. And I think it's in several of them. The one I think I've seen it in is Red Sun, the Superman as a Russian story. So I don't know whether there is more to it that I've forgotten, or whether it's just having read 2 stories so far apart and I've ended up thinking they're the same.
Fair enough,
yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it had some of that vibe going on of suddenly discovering this thing and, hey, why aren't we bringing these people to Earth?
Yeah, exactly.
Quite interesting having her suddenly on a Kryptonian thing. So one of the big parts that has sort of been hinted at is her not having to have a dual identity on this place.
Yes.
Because Supergirl doesn't exist on this place.
No, just...
Is what that basically is.
Yeah, because she's just the same as everyone else in this place.
Exactly, and everyone is largely human. Yeah.
Yeah. It was because part of me was thinking, especially when it was like, oh, and we've only got this limited lifespan because when the weirdy dark rock runs out, we'll have no breathable air and we'll all die. I actually thought that little boy with his breathing machine at the start was an indication that actually this wasn't the most hospitable of atmospheres for people. I had assumed that was something to do with their struggles to live in what might be a polluted world.
Yeah.
I hadn't clocked that it was an illness thing.
Right.
But if they brought them all to Earth, that many people on Earth with the superpowers, they would become a super race, and I think it would be very difficult to stop them taking over Earth.
Yeah. New Krypton would be a interesting experiment. Yeah. So the thing with the kid that gets the vaccine from Mon-El that fully cures him instantly, and he can possibly then go and cure other things. And the way he describes it is it targets the antibodies that are affecting you and takes them out, something on those lines. I don't think Mon-El knows enough about this civilization to really help.
No.
Because we're now, many hundreds of years before that thing was designed, so it might not work as accurately as he wants it to. And I feel like that's setting up for something else. Which, if we were talking about this in the week, that this was the only thing, I'm like, oh, that's going to come back. That's going to be really interesting. That's going to be a thing. It's going to turn the kid evil. It's going to be killing the population. It's going to be something. But 2 episodes later, it appears to have disappeared.
And I don't see that there's room for anything more from Argo in the finale.
Yeah.
I mean, we've even brought, I'm skipping ahead now, but we've even brought Kara's mum back from Argo. And there was all that stuff about the portal being a one-way trip.
One-way trip.
So no one's going back to Argo right now.
No. Although they might be able to get John's ship back.
Yes.
Anyway, back to our episode. Kara doesn't have a dual identity there. But we have lots of filling her in on the fact they've survived. People have grown older there. She's not grown as old.
No.
I think because she didn't age whilst in her pod in the same way that Superman historically doesn't age in his pod. Yeah,
because her best mate, who was the prostitute on Game of Thrones,
yes,
seems to be a little bit older. Sorry, Roz. He was Roz.
It was Roz on Game of Thrones.
Yes. Seems to be a little bit older than her.
Yeah.
In this, and I guess that's supposed to be the indication she didn't grow up quite as much.
I mean, her mum is still at a CW appropriate age.
But her mum, I'm about to say, her mum seems to be the same age. Well, but her mum's not the same woman as her mum was in an earlier series. But, same sort of age.
Yeah. So her mum is now played by Erica Durrance, now plays Allura Zoel.
Right.
The connection there is Erica Durrance played Lois Lane.
All right.
In Smallville.
Oh, did she?
Yes. So DC doing what DC does. Obviously had to replace the actress for reasons. Possibly to cast someone younger in a CW appropriate way. So they went back in their history.
She's not that different in age from the other actress.
No, but...
maybe the other actress I want to go back to Nashville.
Well, yeah, but we saw that show Rain, the TV show Rain, about the Tudors.
Oh, yes.
And just watching, we went, hey, this looks like a CW cast, and it turns out it is a CW cast. They have a very definite look at the people they have in their shows. So, yeah. Anyway. Sorry. So we had lots of introductions there, lots of people meeting, lots of catching up, lots of information about Argo, which I quite enjoyed, except this late in the season. I would have much preferred it earlier in another season and for this to have become more of a thing. This just felt a distraction from... Okay, but deal with the Rock already and get Rain dealt with.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with Argo. Especially if they brought a mum back, because presumably there is now some great instability back on Argo.
Possibly.
And they've lost a bit of their rock.
Yeah.
And they've got the weird technology that what's his face, Mon-El's left them.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just setting that up for something with more exploration actually of Argo.
Yeah.
And possibly the need for the evacuation of all those Kryptonians onto Earth. Maybe that's going to be a big theme for next season. Possibly.
I feel like the friend, Thrace? No, what was the friend's name?
Roz.
Yes. Lady who shall henceforth be called Roz
from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. She's not even listed on the people in Wikipedia.
Feng Shui Chief of Police Roz.
Yeah. Thara Akvar. I feel like she's introduced as a future character. I feel like that's just slipping someone in a few episodes to go, and they will become a thing next season.
Yes.
That's what she feels like. Everyone else on Argo, not really. I can't see they're getting Tim Russ back, to Tuvok from Voyager. They're not getting him back for multiple episodes. It doesn't feel like it. He was just the voice of going against Kara in this episode. So we also got introduced to Selena, talking to the Argo people. Selena. Now, we've met a Selena in a Supergirl before.
In the dreadful film, was she cool witchy Faye Dunaway?
It's Faye Dunaway with Selena.
She was, yes.
So I'm hoping this introduces the octahedron.
Yeah.
and at some point we get Peter Cook coming along and being weird.
Is Peter Cook still alive?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
I can live in hope, though.
God, that would be creepy.
But yeah, so that was the... I don't think they're meant to be the same character. No. I think they're just using the name for a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But they do refer to themselves as witches.
Yes.
Or they do get referred to as witches. So there's just a hint of... Okay, I see what you're doing, but also
a different variant of this coven. Yeah, I quite liked that it wasn't as immediately obvious as it could have been that it was her.
Yeah,
because the more she talked, the more I was like, A, there's something off with this. You feel a little sinister, and B, I'm sure I've seen you before, and of course we had seen her before. And not for a few episodes, but we had seen her before.
I think that was pointed to give us that break. And it might be because it's been a few weeks since we watched it as well.
That's true.
Which doesn't help, but yeah, they did it quite subtly, and then they did it as a reveal.
I really liked it. Really liked it.
But I wonder if are there times when we're watching these things going, why did they try to hide that? It was so obvious.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. In this occasion, it worked.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I think it did.
Do we want to mention the Alex storyline?
Well, for me, the only reason for mentioning the Alex storyline is to mention that I felt it was a little pointless.
Yeah.
I felt it was
a bit of filler.
Yeah.
Almost as though they were going to be redesigning her character.
Which they kind of have a bit.
But this felt like it was going to be, I need to leave so I can become a mother, or...
Whereas actually, she's just become even more badass. It's like Ja'an said to her, no, you're so good at being badass that don't worry about trying to not be badass, you'll be fine.
Perhaps they just needed to have a story about how this person who gets in danger all the time can be a mother. And they at least need to show she's thought about it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But there didn't seem to be, in her case, there didn't seem to be any sense of her going, oh no, I'm not going to be the person I am. It was, well, I am the person I am, is actually my other desire of having a family fair.
Yeah.
And so it was the choice to have a family, whether she was going to do that or not. There didn't seem to be any sense of reining her instincts and her way of doing her job back.
Yeah.
Which I quite liked.
Yep.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we've seen Arrow fighting against his nature.
Yeah.
And it's a bit boring, really.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the kid has one parent, we're always fine, right? Just one thing to point out, when we had that quasi-trial scene, you had those two rings sort of leaning against each other in the background. They are the rings that trapped or were holding in Zod and Ursa and Non in the Superman film. So there's these rings swirling around them to keep them caged during their trial sequence.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. The other thing I've written down was when Kara and Mon-El were approaching the planet, and when they first landed on it, they had a strange lack of curiosity about what this world might be and where they might be. I thought, I'm like, so they've just got this random place on a random side of the moon that they've never imagined, and all they do is they just land, borrow some disguises, and start looking for their black rock. They don't say to anyone, hey, what's the name of this town? Where are we? It's like, why are you hanging out on the dark side of the moon? But anyway. I
can forgive it for the sake of the pacing.
Yeah.
But we did also have a lot of filler in that episode, so... Okay. The episode following that was Not Kansas, which has Kara going back with the rock. And we have a whole episode where she deals with this rock, and they have to analyse the rock and understand its substance, nature, and fight against Rain throughout the episode and back and forth, and we're just stringing out the Rain story. Or, in 2 minutes, we can appear to defeat Rain.
Weirdly easy.
Yeah. To the extent you go, okay, but this is clearly going to be a thing later on.
Yeah.
I didn't get a sense of, oh, they're wrapping up this story early, how interesting.
No.
It was almost awkwardly done.
And I think actually it distracted me from some of the emotions that I think they were trying to get us to feel in the later scenes, because there was always a part of my brain going, hang on, this isn't real.
Yeah.
This isn't happening.
No.
So...
And then we immediately get to a party for Kara leaving because she's going back to Argo. So...
Yeah. I mean, it does all come together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first, at least the first half of that episode, I was just a bit like, say what?
Yeah. And I was expecting Rain to come back or something to happen with Sam in that episode.
Yes.
Which it didn't.
No.
So.
A bit weird. But playing the long game, I guess.
Yeah. So a lot of the episode from Supergirl's perspective was about going back to Argo, talking with Mon-El, talking with her mum, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
On Earth, we had DEO guns on the streets and a very heavy discussion about gun rights in America. So we've made comments about this show dealing with race more, and particularly to do with Ja'an and Jimmy as the black men on the show.
Yeah.
And now we have them dealing with gun rights as well.
Yeah.
The show's stepping up with some of its discussions, particularly by taking a step at the end and saying, no, we're not going to have guns anymore. They don't quite go there and do the thing by the next episode, but...
I think it's also interesting. They just had it one scene, Lena being pro-gun and Jimmy being anti-gun. And I just thought, okay, it's actually interesting to me that they are... it feels like they are anti-gun as a show's theme.
Yeah.
But they are having a discussion about it, as opposed to just being like, well, everyone is obviously anti-gun.
Yeah. I don't feel they quite got to the discussion.
No.
There could have been a thing about, yeah, but there's all these people getting guns and killing people who shouldn't have guns. So perhaps we should, if we're going to say people have guns, we should be better on that front. There is a discussion to be had there that they could do on television. Yeah. But this was more than I think I've seen on any other show that we watch. Not even just in CW or DC. Yeah. I don't think any other show particularly does this. That's as light-hearted as these shows, certainly. Yeah.
I agree. And I like the way the DEO is like, right, we're going to focus on non-lethal weapons. We're going to focus on protecting ourselves and capturing people rather than lethal weapons. Yeah. I'm just like, excellent.
Good. It's an interesting stance. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had more, finally, featured from Eve Tessmacher.
She's going to be more interesting.
Now working for a Luthor.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good.
I don't know what's going to come of that. I don't really believe she went to Yale, given everything we've been given of the character so far. I don't believe she knows the stuff as well as she knows it. I think this is, well, we need a character to help out and have some comedic moments, so...
And be an exposition dump for Lena.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else is busy. Who can we give Lena to talk to?
Yeah.
Oh, Eve Tessmacher.
But it's okay. It's nice to have a recurring character get to do a bit more every so often. So
as long as it's not heralding her impending doom like the other dude. I thought as we got to the end of this, the other thing I really picked up on this one is the reprise of Kara's dream from the very start of the first episode. Yeah. Because as that scene was happening, where they were wandering around in the greenhouse,
Vancouver Botanical Centre,
But like she was wearing her wafty dress, and Mon-El was in his wafty.
He's
white
in his
top,
nice slacks,
and they're wandering. and I was like, oh, this is her dream.
Yeah.
And her mum's there. I was like, oh, okay, this is right back to the beginning. Like, was her dream really prophecy? And I was feeling, quietly smug that I'd remembered the dream at the start. And then they show us the dream. I'm like, do they not trust us to recognise this stuff?
No.
No.
Yeah, it was very nicely done. Yeah. Because it did have a lot of that same vibe. They could have done more, maybe, because the dreams did go somewhere in that first part of the season with the introduction of Rain and Sam having the same dreams.
Yes.
Maybe we could have juxtaposed it with Sam realising she needs to go back to the Dark Valley.
Yes.
But fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was nicely done, and it's nice to, what we'll see in the next episode, use the mother in the way that we've been shown the mother elsewhere. So we've had her in the dream, so now we've got her in that same sort of outfit and doing some of the same stuff. Then we'll see her as the hologram again.
Yes.
Which is very nice. So
yes.
Yeah. Ending with Selena going to Earth.
Yeah.
I quite liked it.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it, that their sort of introduction in this episode and the next episode is very like Zod and Ursa and Non.
Yeah.
From Superman 2.
Yeah.
Really channeling that sort of vibe, but fine.
Yeah.
And I quite like bringing Coville back in because, he's been their puppet all along, so it works. It sort of fits in as a kind of Igor.
I like that evidence of long-term plotting in the themes and the storyline.
Yeah.
So I like that. One more comment that I had on this episode before Priestesses of Jor-El. Like, Selena might be quite clever, But she doesn't really have she doesn't really have closed-mouthed acolytes, does she?
No.
I mean, that one that was like left there and, ha, Selena's gone to Earth, blah, blah, blah. I shall give away all of her evil plans.
Yeah.
So now you can have a head start on trying to combat them. I mean, if she just kept her mouth closed, Selena would have had a little bit more time to get on with terraforming Earth.
Yeah. In the episode, yes, I fully agreed with you. But the fact that then led them to Selena's place where there was a bomb to kill them, and they thought she got away anyway.
That's true.
The long game works a little bit better there. But absolutely, yes, in the episode, I was like, well, this is useful. Thanks, lady.
Yeah.
They haven't even tortured you yet. Come on, get an ear cut off.
Exactly. But yes.
Okay, our third episode was Make It Rain. So this is really moving into the endgame piece of what they wanted to do with Rain. Bringing Rain back and eventually starting the terraforming of Earth, like you say. We had a very long-term story during this episode and recent episodes of John's father, the decay of his mind, and now to a point where he wants to transfer his consciousness in a Vulcan mind meld Kartra, Bene Gesserit witches.
Smoky staff of mind melding.
Yeah, this feels like a sci-fi trope, the transferring of memories and maintaining thing. I feel like I want to do a supercut of people doing this.
Yeah. Now, this might be leaping through the plot points a little bit, but I assume everyone who listens to this show will have seen the show. Maybe?
I'd hope so.
But I was initially thinking, well, this could be interesting. How is the inclusion of his father's memories going into John's knowledge and psyche and consciousness? How is that going to change the character of John? Because John is he's a lot more human and has a lot more character and heart than he did in the first series.
Yeah.
But actually, I think the mind meld breaking off when it did probably allows us to leave him with some awareness of some of the stuff that were in his father's memories.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they're not going to get the opportunity to complete that process, so he can still keep his personality rather than...
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame because they could have done something very interesting there. And certainly the second half of this season, he's done a lot of, with Mon-El talking about his feelings or being married, and with Alex talking about her and talking about his father. And you're right, they have humanized him very heavily.
Yes.
This would have been an interesting way to change that back a bit, and or give David Harewood something to do, because he doesn't get a lot to do anymore. They then broke it off as the terraforming starts, and his father is going to go and shapeshift in the planet to stop it.
Be like a bit of Compede on the planet. Sorry, I don't know.
Be a band-aid over the core, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. I suspect his father is not coming out of this alive, whatever.
No.
I think there will be some sort of transferal of knowledge, but like you say, it won't be everything. So I'm not sure whether we're going to get any more or we're going to have to live with what we've got.
My prediction is the father will be able to hold things together just long enough for Kara to go into the Valley of Doom and support Sam in her efforts to drink from the Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Infinite Power.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I wanted to bring up John's dad's thing first was we had a lot of it in this episode, and we've had a few mentions in previous episodes. And the way they kept coming back to it, I just kept feeling they are going to have to bring these stories together. For this to be taking this much time, it has to have some impact on the rest of the story.
Right.
And what they're actually doing is, what I thought it might be was John would realise something from his father's past that would help them. Yes. And that would be how it would tie in or something. He would come in last minute. But we defeated the White Martians by doing this, and we could do this and this, something like that. What they're doing is they're using it as an emotional thing for the audience to see that John doesn't get his moment with his dad.
Yes.
So that's what we're expecting to happen there. If we're moving into predictions.
So.
The rest of the episode, we were trying to get Kara and Mon-El from Argo to Earth.
Yes.
And the Kryptonians were trying to bring back Rain.
Yes.
Rain wasn't forming because they needed the blood of the other world killers. They had to go to the DEO to get the blood. So they killed everyone in the DEO.
Pretty much.
Again.
I don't know how the DEO keeps managing to recruit people. I mean, it's a tight labour market out there.
Yeah, we've had this a few times, haven't we? Did we have this on the Crisis episodes? With the Nazis coming in and killing everyone, or another one where it feels like it happens a lot. So
it's not
maybe
it's not
Invasion it happened as well.
I'd want to go and
no. But maybe it's like Arrow, and they're destroying everything, so they get new sets next season.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, maybe they're all going to go and start using the same bunker. They're just going to film against a different wall.
Yes. Maybe they could use Chinese jitters.
Maybe they could. Yeah, everyone's in jitters. So Rain's back.
Yes.
Which we expected them to bring Rain back. We expected that from the beginning of the last episode where they defeated Rain so quickly.
Yes.
But they got her back by getting the blood that Kara threw at them.
And then burned.
And then tried to burn, but she caught it too quickly.
Powdered blood from her burned hand.
Yeah.
Scattered. Why did Kara throw the blood at her?
It's incredibly reckless, right?
Yeah.
Like, she can fly. She can fly away, burn it, and then come back and say it's burnt. You got nothing.
I mean, the dude who stole it could have just gone, right, I've got it in my hands now, smash, bit of acid.
Yeah.
Done.
I was expecting something there of him injecting himself with the blood, or jumping out a window with the blood, or... Something heavily dramatic. I kind of expected him to die.
Yeah.
He had a lot of lines earlier in the episode that made him very human, very interesting.
Yeah, I was sad, actually. I quite enjoyed...
Yeah.
I thought he had potential to be a more interesting character.
Yeah. And it's a shame it was only this episode they got to make him a more interesting character. Yeah, I would have bought into it more had it been several episodes. And then he died. Like, I was just getting invested in him.
Because he was in the one where John's dad's mental wave.
I think so, yeah.
He was one of the people who got angry and was fighting with Win. So I think...
But that was it.
That was it,
And then they brought him back for this one. And it was, okay.
Yeah.
But we also had lots of promises in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Sam promising... And admittedly, she was promising she will tell Ruby what's happening.
Yeah.
But we had Alex promising Ruby her mum will be okay.
Yeah.
We had Kara promising someone something. It was just, okay, guys, we've seen this show. You cannot promise these things.
No, you can promise to try.
Yeah.
Do your best. But...
Yeah. So, we've ended up with the Earth being terraformed. Koval is dead. Not sure why we needed to kill him, but he's dead, so we know now he's not a thing.
Given how useful he has been in the past, it doesn't, it just seems a bit. It just seems a bit reckless, overconfident.
Yeah,
but maybe that's the point where they're at. Maybe in the bad guy arc, they're at the point where they think they've won, and therefore they get overconfident and reckless, which is going to allow. I imagine the next episode is not going to end with the world terraformed.
It would be an interesting way to go.
It would, wouldn't it? But I also don't know, why do they want to terraform the world? What is a terraformed world going to do for them?
I'm not sure, if I'm honest. Yeah. If I'm totally honest. There is a hint of them being a different race. But if they're saying Kryptonians, and I think there is a thing that Kryptonian air is different.
Okay.
They breathe a different air, but they can adapt to Earth and survive on Earth.
They seem to be doing all right.
Yeah.
Kara seems to be doing all right.
The yellow sun helps a lot, I think.
Yeah, Superman seems to be doing all right.
Perhaps they want to terraform it to make it exactly like Krypton, something like that. Yeah. The killing of Koval, I think... Any other show I would have said, they're doing this to show how evil they are. But, we've kind of got that they're pretty evil by this point.
Maybe it's just to cement their absolute disdain for human life.
Yeah, true.
And that they just see no point in any human.
Yeah. Right, so we now have the terraforming. We have Kara flying to try and do something. We have John's dad going into the Earth to shapeshift and try and stop it. We have Rain in the Earth with a sword.
Yeah.
And we have Sam in the dark valley place.
Yeah.
Wanting to go into some infinite fountain thing.
Yeah. And we have Kara's mum on Earth.
And we now have Allura on Earth, of course.
She took the one-way ticket to Earth.
She did. Do we think Allura is in season 4? Is she getting out of season 3?
Yes.
Okay.
I think she is.
Okay.
I think she is. I don't know why I think but I don't feel that we've done enough exploration of that the reintegration.
Yeah, okay.
And I think there's probably a few interesting emotional plot points to be done.
Family
with
dynamics.
Family dynamics. Okay. Two mums.
Yeah.
How does she actually work with Alex?
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think she might stick around.
Okay. I have a feeling of her also sacrificing herself. And that's... I can't really see why she's there, if I'm honest.
Is this to... Possibly, actually, thinking back of all of the stuff where she starts wittering on about her guilt about Fort Raz. Maybe this is part of her atonement. I don't know why she feels so guilty about putting bad people into Fort Raz.
I think because it was such a horrid place to be locked away, and then wasn't there a thing they were actually locking people away who perhaps shouldn't be there?
Okay.
Like political distance, like her sister.
Right, fair enough.
So
yeah. I thought her sister was pretty bad.
So what do you think is going to happen next episode? Season finale.
So, yeah, John's dad, we've already covered this, is going to be a Band-Aid in the terraformed world and will be dead by the end of it. Joanne will be very sad.
Okay.
But will be at peace with what's happened.
Okay.
Sam may or may not make it. Now that she's off for the, striving to reach the infinite pool of wisdom or whatever it is, I'm slightly more confident that she'll make it.
Yeah.
Slightly more.
But on the other hand, Alex wants a daughter and Ruby's a fully fledged character.
Right? It may get to the point where they realise they actually can't keep Sam and defeat Rain. That whilst they have split them, actually... And
there's a link,
that isn't going to work. So Alex and John may end up jointly parenting Ruby.
Okay, yeah.
Might be... It might go somewhere like that. Is Ruby half Kryptonian?
No, because Sam is not Kryptonian. She is changing into a Kryptonian as Rain has been taking over her body.
Right.
I think.
I wasn't sure whether Sam was actually Kryptonian, but they'd done something to disguise her cells with a human shell covering, but now the Kryptonian cells were emerging.
Yeah. I think that's the point, that it's not the yellow sun that powers her, it's this pool.
Right.
This fountain thing.
Yeah.
So I think Ruby doesn't get affected by that, although maybe that's another way of bringing it in, that she does get powers, maybe.
Yeah. Mini Super Ruby.
Yeah.
Don't know. What else? Yeah. Wynn's... I don't know what's going on with Wynn.
Well...
He seems to be taking it very hard that his friends died.
Yeah. But... Yeah, whether he wants to continue or not, we'll see.
Yeah. But I think we'll have acts of daring do.
Okay.
I think Monel and Cara, whilst I'm becoming more positive about the idea of them being back together and in love, I don't think it's going to come off for them.
Okay.
I don't know if Monel's going to sacrifice himself or if he's going to end up having to take something back to the future. Okay,
so final question then.
Yeah.
Do you think Brainiac and Imra are back for the final episode?
Ooh. No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
You think that's a step too far?
Yeah. I don't know.
Why are you saying no?
Because I think it becomes a very crowded cast at that point. They've got an awful lot of people doing an awful lot of stuff.
That is fair. That is very fair.
I just think it would just become a bit over confusing.
The reason it occurs to me is just because it feels like another story that we've not wrapped up.
You could be right. I feel like the more emotion driven plot lines, I feel like those are the ones that they're writing to span into the next season.
Okay.
To leave those emotional cliffhangers rather than to leave a big bad cliffhanger.
Okay. So no emotional cliffhanger of Cara and Monel finally kiss and Imra sees them. Because that would be the one, wouldn't it?
Okay, I don't rule that out.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh,
so my prediction is not that Brainiac and Imra will come back and actually be all that helpful in the denouement. But you're quite right. Cara and Monel may say, okay, we're going to be together, and then Imra sees them. That could happen. I'm not sure I'd like that.
No.
But that could happen.
It is the sort of thing they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be back next week with the finale of Supergirl Season 3.
Exciting.
Thank you, Mrs. Vose.
Thank you, Mr. Vose.
So that wraps us up for another week. If you have thoughts, questions, or comments, you can use the hashtag ATAV on Twitter, or you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Eloquent Gushing. If you want to help support us, please check out our Patreon page where you can get access to exclusive content across all our shows. Go to patreon.com/eloquentgushing. And don't forget to visit the homepage, eloquentgushing.com, where you can find the other shows across the network and subscribe to our weekly newsletter with all the goings on. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you across the Arrowverse.
Across the Arrowverse is an Eloquent Gushing production. For more shows you'll love, please visit eloquentgushing.com.